Hey everyone, I've finally seen enough time loop movies for a full top 10, so I figured it was about time for an update. As before, I'm only going to be including movies where a time loop is part of the main plot, so something like Doctor Strange doesn't count. Spoiler alert, because I will be spoiling some minor stuff. Starting off, my number 10 is one you've probably never heard of, Blood Punch. This movie has some laughably bad Foley work and Kiwi actors doing questionable American accents, but aside from that, it's a solid little film. Accents aside, the acting is pretty solid, especially Milo Cawthorn.
Milton.
Don't worry. I'm just gonna talk with him. We'll sort this whole thing out.
No, you don't understand.
Look, what happened yesterday, I'm not going through that again, okay? I can't. It's okay. I'm just gonna talk with him.
What the fuck is going on here?
Look, I told you, we did this all yesterday.
Yesterday? We weren't even fucking here yesterday. I don't know what the fuck you're trying to pull, but you
Guns
better...
loaded.
What the fuck?
We did this already. This has all already happened. Look, hey, how about we just head inside and, you know, we just talk this whole thing out. What do you say, partner? I mean, I'm telling you, man, this whole thing is so fucked up, you're not gonna believe a word of it.
Oh, that's fine, because I'm not even gonna hear a word of it. Now, I'm gonna let you bleed out here while I go inside and carve up that cunt like a Thanksgiving turkey. And then I'll be back to finish you off.
So how'd the talk go?
This movie is well shot considering the obviously low budget, and honestly, its saving grace is the tight script. Time loops are weird, but this movie makes it work. My score is 3.5 out of 5. Number 9 is The Map of Tiny Perfect Things. This movie doesn't really add very many new wrinkles to the time loop narrative, but it's elevated by solid writing and acting. Mark Allen is good, Catherine Newton is great, and they have some solid chemistry.
Hi, I'm Mark. I just had a quick question.
Okay.
I was wondering, this is gonna sound really strange, got really bizarre, but are you experiencing any kind of temporal anomaly in your life? By temporal anomaly, I mean...
I know what temporal anomaly is.
Okay, great. So what specifically I was wondering is...
The thing where the same day keeps happening?
Whoa. Okay. I thought nobody else knew.
Well, somebody does.
Yeah.
Oh.
I saw you at the pool before. You caught a beach ball, and that had never happened before. So I figured that you probably had free will. I've actually been looking all over for you.
The emotional and comedic moments work and complement each other very well, and it adds up to a fun and charming little film. My score is 3.6 out of 5. Number 8 is another one I doubt you've ever heard of, The Fair. This is a little indie film that's elevated by a tight script and a talented cast. It starts out as a typical time loop movie, but by the end, it has become something completely different. Gino Anthony Pesci, I hope I pronounced that right, who I somehow recognize from Battle Los Angeles of all things, and Brina Kelly, who also wrote the movie, are both very good and they have some strong chemistry.
Harris, come in.
Go for Harris.
That was fast. What's your ETA on that pickup?
ETA.
Yeah, ETA. What are you, high? Weather reports in your area aren't pretty and they're getting ugly by the minute. Hello?
I'm here. Yeah, I see the weather up ahead. I'm almost to the pickup.
Keep me posted.
Will do. Roger that. Huh.
Please tell me I've heat in there.
As long as you don't mind the smell of burning.
I'll take that over freezing.
Where are we headed?
Corner of
Elman River Drive. Middle of nowhere.
The music is good and the editing is great. That score is 3.8 out of 5. Number 7 is Happy Death Day to You. Considering the first movie really didn't need a sequel, this one is a lot better than it has any right to be. My one big problem with this movie is that there's one scene where I think they let the joke go on for a little too long. Other than that, I love it. Tree's character arc picks up right where it left off and continues on in a realistic direction. Yes, she spent most of the first movie trying to be a better person, but once she finds out her mom is alive in the other timeline, it makes perfect sense that she would revert back to her default setting of selfish. What this movie does differently is that it actually explains what's causing the time loop, which was interesting. I absolutely love that this movie's montage, instead of going for another Tree getting killed montage, she is just doing it herself. It's some solid dark humor. My score is 3.9 out of 5. Surprise, surprise, number 6 is Happy Death Day. Look, if there's one thing that will always feel at home in a time loop movie, it's the asshole redemption character arc. It's one of the most interesting kinds of character arcs, and Tree's is better than most. The death montage is a ton of fun.
Not gonna fake it, now when you go down, 'cause this is my game, and you better come to play. I used to hold my freak back, now I'm letting go. I make my own choice, bitch, I run this show, so leave the lights on, no you can't make me behave. So you say I'm complicated, that must be ever mine, but you really underrated.
Jessica Roth carries this film. She is excellent.
It's just that this day is really hard for me. And, I miss Mom. You know, I miss her so much. I miss the way that she smells. I miss that crazy horse laugh she has.
Yeah, me too.
And I guess I thought that if I avoided all of it, if I avoided you, that somehow it would be easier. But it's not.
The acting is solid and the humor and scares work. My score is 4 out of 5. Number 5 is Boss Level. This is one of those movies where it's not about video games, it doesn't take place in a video game, but it kind of follows the rules of a video game. Boss Level combines the video game aesthetic of Scott Pilgrim, the time loop concept from Edge of Tomorrow, and the brutal R-rated action from Taken and John Wick. It's wonderful to see Frank Grillo finally getting the lead roles he deserves. The man is a badass.
This might have been fun for a while.
Fucking dead!
Once the shock wore off, once I realized what the hell was happening, after nearly 140 times, it just fucking got annoying. And I want it to stop. But I know it won't. You know how people say, oh, I can do that with my eyes closed. And you always think they sound like assholes, but whatever. Watch. As many times as I've seen this happen to my apartment, I still can't help but think, fuck, man, this is a lease. The landlord is already an asshole anyway, and I'm never, ever getting my security deposit back.
Frank Grillo is awesome, and the rest of the cast is solid, especially Selena Lowe. I hate unnecessary narration, but in this movie the narration actually works. The action is sort of a middle ground between the long takes of John Wick and the quick cuts of Taken and Bourne. This movie isn't perfect, but it knows exactly what it is, and it's not trying to be anything else. And what more can you ask for? My score is 4.1 out of 5. Number 4 is Triangle. This movie is a mindfuck, and I love it. It's confusing at first, but that's only natural considering the nature of it, and it should all make sense by the end. This is a trippy psychological thriller masquerading as a slasher flick on a boat. Melissa George is great. She doesn't carry the film, but she could have if she needed to. This movie has Greek mythology running through its veins, and I love it. Jess is essentially Sisyphus, the man who cheated Zeus and Death, and was sentenced to push a boulder up a hill every day only for it to roll back down every time. Taking a trip through the 5 rivers of Hades, starting with the river Lethe that wipes her memory. Or something like that, I don't know. Point is, Greek mythology. What this movie does differently, what I love about it, is that it's not just a time loop movie, it's a multi-loop movie. Kinda complicated, but if you watch the movie, it'll make sense. My score is 4.25 out of 5. This is where I get a little controversial. Number 3 is Groundhog Day. Like Happy Death Day, this movie makes excellent use of the asshole redemption character arc. This movie laid the groundwork and established a lot of the tropes for this small but versatile subgenre. Bill Murray and Andie MacDowell are both great, and they have excellent chemistry.
Why are you telling me this?
Because I want you to believe in me.
You're not a god. You can take my word for it. This is 12 years of Catholic school talking.
I could come back if you're not ready.
How do you know I'm not a god?
Oh, please.
How do you know?
Because it's not possible.
Doris. This is Doris. Her brother-in-law, Carl, owns this diner. She's worked here since she was 17. More than anything else in her life, she wants to see Paris before she dies.
Oh, boy, would I.
What are you doing?
This is Debbie Kleiser and her fiancé, Fred.
Do I know you?
They're supposed to be getting married this afternoon, but Debbie is having second thoughts.
What?
Lovely ring.
This is Bill. He's been a waiter for 3 years since he left Penn State and had to get work. He likes the town, he paints toy soldiers, and he's gay.
I am.
This is Gus. He hates his life here. He wishes he stayed in the Navy.
Well, I could have retired on half pay after 20 years.
Excuse me, is this some kind of trick?
Well, maybe the real God uses tricks. You know, maybe he's not omnipotent. He's just been around so long, he knows everything.
Oh, okay. Well, who's that?
This is Tom. He worked in the coal mine until they closed it down.
And her?
It's Alice. Came over here from Ireland when she was a baby. She lived in Erie most of her life.
He's right. And her?
Nancy. She works in the dress shop and makes noises like a chipmunk when she gets real excited.
Hey!
It's true.
How do you know these people?
I told you, I know everything. In about 5 seconds, a waiter's gonna drop a tray of dishes. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay?
Okay, that's enough.
The writing is solid, the humor rarely misses, and the musical score is memorable and perfectly complements the tone of each scene. My score is 4.5 out of 5. Number 2 is Palm Springs. Kids, this is the story of how your mother met Jake Peralta. Palm Springs is a well-crafted rom-com mixed with a fresh take on the time loop concept. Andy Samberg and Kristen Milioti have phenomenal chemistry, and J.K. Simmons is clearly having a ton of fun.
Such an awesome car.
How close are you sticking to my sketch?
I stuck to it exactly. You're gonna love it.
Awesome.
Looks really cool.
Wait! Stop! There's a bomb in the cake. Don't worry. I used to be a bomb guy. Everyone stand back!
Oh my God! Try out! You son of a bitch! You ruined my plans!
Sarah, the sister of the bride, and based on her accent, from origins unknown. I'll take her dead or alive.
Put the weapon down.
Fine. Then it's to be hand-to-hand combat then.
Oh my God! Niles!
How's it going? Is it good?
Yeah, it looks really good.
And are the balls smooth and hairless like I asked for?
Yeah.
And are you getting the jizz right?
Dotted lines, straight across.
The musical score is good, the writing is great, the pacing is perfect, and the humor is consistently funny. My score is 4.75 out of 5. Finally, my number 1 is... Hey everyone, I've finally seen enough time loop movies for a full top 10, so I figured it was about time for an update. Like before, I'm not going to be counting movies like... Wait a minute. I've done this before. Whatever. Finally, my number 1 is... Hey everyone, today I'm going to be counting down my... Shit, I knew I was forgetting something. Before we continue, I actually have an honorable mention. Before I Fall. I'm usually not a fan of teen dramas, but this one's an exception thanks in no small part to the time loop stuff. This movie makes up for its shortcomings thanks to a well-crafted story and an exceptional performance from Zoe Deutsch.
Sleep.
Where this movie stands out, what it does differently, is the ending. I won't spoil it, because I'm not that much of an asshole. But it's something that no other movie on this list did. Unfortunately, this is the 11th best movie in a top 10 list, so it doesn't earn an official spot. Finally, my number 1 is Edge of Tomorrow. Oh, thank fuck that actually worked. This is one of the most underrated sci-fi movies of all time. Doug Liman doesn't get nearly enough credit for it. Tom Cruise and Emily Blunt are great, and Brendan Gleeson and Bill Paxton are both good. This movie is inventive, easy to follow, and fun. The writing, cinematography, editing, and music are all great.
Keep your eyes open. Again. 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 Again.
Just wait. I think I'm okay.
On your feet, maggot. Maggot. I'm trying to be nice to you, maggot. Now move.
The ending might be a little confusing, but I was able to figure it out. At least I think I was. Time travel is weird. My score is 5 out of 5. Hey everyone, let me know what you think. What are your favorites? Like and subscribe and all that. If you don't like the video, subscribe anyway so you can tell me how bad my other stuff is. That's all for now. Stay safe in these crazy times.